what? We have just let people marinate on that last episode.
Yes.
It was a lot to handle.
You guys loved
We really
it.
needed all this time for it to sort of settle in.
Yeah.
So
we had a lot of interviews we had to do, a lot of media because we become so large. So
yes.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Amarilys.
And Misty.
This is On the Dock. Misty and I were talking about earlier that we've done this podcast. Oh, by the way, we didn't even mention this. This is basically our year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
We are...
I can't believe we've been doing this a year.
A whole year.
Yeah.
We are on the dock, and we watch documentaries so that you don't have to.
Absolutely.
We will watch a documentary, and then we talk about it, which hopefully you probably figured that out already. But
right. We just tell you the best parts, the parts that are most pleasing to us, and do it in such a way that you are just filled with laughter and joy for the rest of your day.
It's quite effective.
It is.
It's quite effective.
It's a ministry.
So have you had anything going on in the last month and a half, or no?
I have.
Yes.
Actually, so I took Avery on a college tour last week, yes. And I won't say to where because I've been told that I shouldn't say personal things about myself, but I just said my kid's name. So we went on a college tour, which was exciting but hard for me because, you know, she's like my buddy. She's the
only one of your kids you like.
She's the only one that talks to me.
Okay.
So, I mean, one physically cannot. And then shout out to Eli. He loves me, but he, you know.
Yeah.
And then Isaac just chooses.
At least you think he does.
I think he does. Maybe he's talking to everybody else but me. Maybe he's like, y'all, she's really buying this autism diagnosis. I need y'all to sell it because I don't want to have to deal when I get home. But then I got Isaac. He just chooses not to. That's okay. Yeah. Like, he just does his own thing. But Avery's like, and Philip, he don't like to talk to nobody either. So Avery's like my buddy, and we talk. But, so we went on a college tour, and pretty much she just came home and was like, how quickly can I leave you?
Was she? She was pumped
she was
after
like,
seeing college life.
She was like, go. I'm not, whatever. Should I say the name of the school?
Go. She's not there yet.
We went to go visit Troy. She really liked it. And she was like, go Trojans. And she's like running around the house. She's put on a Troy-bound T-shirt.
She's already decided.
Oh,
First college visit. She's already decided.
She's throwing up what I thought were gang signs, but they're sorority signs. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, go so-and-so. And I was like, why do you want to leave me so bad? Like, can't you just stay a year and go to like Jeff State, and I'll do all the stuff I'm not going to cook or anything like that, but I'll do all the stuff I've always done. And she was like, I need to be at least 2 hours away from you.
And that's at least 2 hours away.
That's at least 2 hours away.
But that was your first campus visit.
That was our first one. But if you know anything about Avery, you know that if you give her too many options, she will have a panic attack. And so once we left there, we had like 6 different college tours ready, and she was like, I think I'm just going to go to Troy.
I'm done.
And I was like, maybe we should look at just a few more. So we cut it down from 6 to 3. So,
where else are you going to go look?
We're going to go look at Mississippi State.
Okay.
And we're going to go look at, what's the other one? Is it North? No, my other one goes to North. South Alabama.
South Alabama.
Yeah.
Now, that's a beach one.
That is a beach one. And, you know, she loves to not wear clothes.
And I have family that lives down there, so you might...
Yeah.
You know, my sister's a dentist in that area.
But that's quite a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she'd have people that would take care of her while she's down. Like I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
She could have, you know...
people down there that, we're close.
Well, there you have it.
We'll see. I don't know. It's all happening very fast.
Well,
I don't like it.
At our house, we have cat news again.
Meow.
Well, we don't really have cat news. We have the potential.
Cat suspicions.
Potential for cat news.
Can we be honest and just say it?
My cat's
she's a whore. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just...
So really, people are going to judge us so hardcore.
Yeah.
But we have 3 cats. We started out with 2.
She's not even a lady in the streets.
She's not.
You know that saying, lady in the streets, freak in the bed? She's freak everywhere.
I didn't know.
I
this
know.
would take a turn into
Who knew?
cat fetishes.
Well.
Yeah. Anyway,
There we go.
so on one of my daughter's birthdays, the night before,
She celebrated.
I was getting ready for her little birthday party the next day, and
P.S. I was not invited to that birthday party.
You were not. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
It was a very narrow list of 6-year-olds.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Well, listen, it was outside, so it was just for
Oh,
the
well,
best.
I'm not going to get at that.
Yeah. So we were getting ready for that. When I say we, I mean me, because everybody was comfortably in their bed asleep. So I'm in and out of the house because it was all outside. Oh, that's just our washer. Totally done. It sings to
That
us.
is fancy.
It sings.
Good. What
Let's
song is
see if
that?
they can hear it.
What what song is that? Titanic?
I don't know. Yeah, every time.
My heart will go on.
So the next morning I wake up and I can't find Mabel, which is our girl cat,
Right.
our grown girl cat. And the entire day she's missing. My husband is going crazy because he would, I think, sooner lose a child than one of our cats.
Rhett Barnett loves a feline.
He loves a cat.
And I just said his
Yes.
full name.
So that's okay. So he like every hour or so he's coming down from his office and going outside for a walk looking for
Bless
her.
it.
He said, "Can you please post it to our neighborhood page?" It's missing. Like we cannot find her.
He said, "I'll be
anywhere.
back. I'm going to Kinko's."
It was so sad. It was really sad. So that night, my older daughter Catalina had a friend spend the night also,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were up late. And Rhett said, "I'll take you guys to Waffle House." So it was like 1 a.m. or
He
something.
said, "Let's just walk around Waffle House about 3 times before we go inside."
So he took them out, and they found her outside up against the house. So she may have just like stayed away because of the activity going on around the house.
Yeah.
But my point is that she doesn't get out of the house. She's never been out of the house.
Yeah.
This was a one-off situation, and I believe she was in heat. So now we have the potential of a third litter of kittens in under a year.
And we don't even know the baby daddy.
And this time we don't know the baby daddy.
there's-
So we may have like a calico cat
It could
instead
be a
of gray and white cat.
kaleidoscope of cat
Yes.
that comes out.
Maybe it's a long-haired cat this time. Anyway,
Oh.
it's just the people are going to start reporting us to the
But
Humane
please
Society.
know that you guys did do the responsible thing and go get Dipper fixed.
Yes.
Which
we got the
you,
boy cat
You
fixed.
thought
so
to yourself, that will solve our problem. Little
Yes.
did you know that hussy was going to go out the back.
I had no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
So because they literally those two, none of them have ever been outside.
Oh, ours either.
Like they've been in the garage, and that's the extent of it. And they come right back in.
Right.
So for her to leave was it was crazy.
I wonder if she could tell that he was fixed while she was in heat. She's
Well,
like, I'm throwing out all
without
these,
getting too graphic.
I'm throwing
she
out all
was-
these signs, and you're doing nothing.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say without getting too graphic, she was really egging it on, and he was like, "I don't know what to do, Mabel."
He was like, listen, Mabel, I have a headache, and I'm tired, and I ate too much.
Mabel, I'm over it.
My stomach hurts.
So, so it was we thought we were being responsible owners after this last litter, and
Little.
finally got Dipper fixed. But anyway,
So we'll see. We'll let y'all know.
we'll let y'all know if we have some extra kitties. The good news is we'll know exactly when she got pregnant,
Right.
so we'll be able to count the 60-something days, 63 or whatever many days it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
and so we'll know exactly. But
Speaking of litters.
she just got her.
I was going to take us into our documentary.
That was the best transition ever. Speaking of litters,
Speaking of
you
litters.
guys watch The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
It's not just cats that have them. So,
It's not just cats. It's the people in Appalachia.
y'all, can I please tell y'all, this week's episode and
It's a beaut.
documentary that we are about to talk to you guys about, I'm going to go ahead and throw Amarilys under the bus and say she picked it.
I did.
And because of it, I've lost several brain cells. And I'm going to have to go recommit my life to Christ tomorrow at the altar. So
Yeah, well, you got to go watch something beautiful, something pretty, so that it takes those images out of your head.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, I'm
Wow.
trying to think of something like like a Disney animated film or something that will just put pretty images in your brain.
I'm just going to go watch Little House on the Prairie for a while.
Yes. Okay. That's
Yeah.
that's
something
fair.
wholesome. The Waltons, maybe?
Yes, the Waltons.
Something.
Yeah,
It was
that's-
it was a lot.
It was a lot. So the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, they are.
I've never been to West Virginia.
Oh,
Have you?
Misty, do I have a story about West Virginia?
Really?
I cannot even believe I didn't tell you this story.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, goodness. Okay. When I was in college, I sang in a choir. And at the end of the year, that choir would go on a mission trip for a week. Okay.
To West Virginia.
This particular year, we went to West Virginia. And we had been told our contact person has a speech impediment just to prepare you. So when he comes on the bus, he'll start talking. Just know it's a little bit strange.
Right.
We didn't know what to expect. So, and then we forgot about it. You know,
Yeah.
we're going on about our business.
Right.
Next thing we know, we're at the site where we're supposed to be working, and the man comes on the bus. Now, Misty, I'm on the front. I'm at the very front seat of that bus.
Yes.
Okay. I am within 3 feet of this man.
Sure.
Okay. Thank God I had a blanket with me. Okay. Because this man started talking, and he said he wanted to tell us a story. I can't even start. I can't even. He said, I need to tell you a story about a little girl. And her name was Emberly. Emberly.
Okay.
Emberly loved oohs and oolay.
But he could say Emberly.
I can't say K sounds. Her name was Emberly, and she loved oohs and oolay.
Was Kimberly?
Yes.
Bless.
Yes.
Now, do you think that was a speech impediment? Now that I've watched this, I think it's just West Virginia.
It could be. It could be. I cannot believe I forgot about that story.
Oh, bless.
So Emberly left oohs and oolay. And when I tell you, I could not find anywhere to go because I was on that front.
Right.
I took, and this is, you can't see me, but I took that blanket as fast as I could and put it over my face. Just right under my eyes because I must have turned magenta.
Yeah.
Because when I realized this man's speech impediment was he can't say K's, I mean, I could barely breathe. It was just so awful. I wish I had been in the back. It was, the rest of the trip, everybody talked about oohs and Emberly and oohs and oolay.
Oh.
I know. It's terrible. I know. It's
It is.
terrible.
It's
I'm
terrible.
sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what his name was. It might have been like Ent.
Oh, stop it. I'm a special needs advocate, by the way.
I don't know. He wasn't special needs. I mean, I guess I could be classified as a special need.
He has speech impediment, surely.
I guess.
He had something going on.
Well, my apologies. But come on. Emberly and oohs
But,
and oolay.
but I really think it wasn't a speech impediment. I think it's West Virginia. I think it's their dialect.
It could be.
I'm not kidding, because when I started listening to this, I was like, now listen, I'm from Alabama, okay?
Yeah.
Not only am I from Alabama, I have a child with autism who struggles with speech. I grew up with an uncle who has a severe speech impediment. And I can normally understand anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one people come to and go, listen to this and tell me what they're saying.
Yeah.
Some of these folks, I was like, rewind. I could not.
I always had the
Even looking at the subtitles, I was like,
Yeah.
that is not what they just
I
said.
had to have the captions on.
Surely that's not what they
definitely-
said. I mean, when you have so much of the drugs and alcohol in your system,
Yes.
too,
Yeah.
it'll slur you,
You
a little
think?
bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, so the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia is on Prime, but it's not free. I mean, it is free, but you have to sit through some commercials.
Yes.
Did you have to sit through?
I did.
At least
I
my
did.
account did.
Yeah, because in the middle of it, I thought, oh, did I change the channel with my
Yeah.
butt?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't used to that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's some commercials in it. And it is like, it said 2009, but I believe that it was actually filmed many years before that because that was a 10th anniversary edition.
Oh,
so I think it
okay.
might have been like 1999, and then 2009 was the 10th anniversary.
Well, it was kind of like our last documentary. You really can't date it by the clothing.
You cannot.
No, because I'm gonna say they're not quite up on fashion trends.
No, they don't care. No,
They don't.
In fact, that's one of my notes that I made was they didn't really care if they were going to court or to see to a funeral.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to say to go to work because none of them work.
No, the dress
But-
code's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Well, and another thing I learned is, you know, as a young woman, you learn that there are certain fashion staples you need in your closet. You need a little black dress. You need a well-fitting white T-shirt. You need a good pair of jeans. I did not know that you needed a pair of neon sweatpants in the shade lime green. That could take you from birth of a child to the bar that night after you lost it to CPS, and then on your way to rehab in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then to your mom and grandmom's funeral.
And your grandmom and mom's funeral. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right. That lime green covers a lot.
it really did.
It covers a lot.
And I thought, well, guess what I'm going to get?
Some lime green sweatpants.
Some lime green sweatpants.
All right. So the Whites of West Virginia, they are a family that is pretty famous in that area. They're in Boone County, West Virginia. And they're pretty famous because their dad, D-Ray White, was a famous clogger, dancer.
Now, this is what confused me. They acted like this man had created a dance that no one had ever seen before.
Yeah, you would have thought that it was like Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance.
Yeah, and when I watched it, I was like, well, he's just clogging or tap dancing.
Also, it wasn't even like...
It was not entertaining to me.
It wasn't even really good clogging.
No, I mean, it just looked like...
Says Amarilys.
Says Amarilys, famous clogger. I mean, to me, it was like, I felt like I could get up there and do that. I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
You know how you'll see some pieces of artwork and you'll go,
I could do that.
I'm pretty sure I could do that if I had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about that tap dancing.
Yes.
I feel like if you put me up on that glass table with some horseshoe tap dance shoes, I'd be fine.
There was nothing intricate or any. I mean, it wasn't. Sometimes it wasn't even on rhythm. Sometimes it just didn't work with the music.
Yeah, I didn't really get it, but
But
maybe
he was famous. Like he was on TV and he was famous. But D-Ray got killed,
as to most of the whites.
as many of the Whites have done. Now he didn't kill somebody like as other Whites have done.
Yeah.
But he was killed at some. I don't even remember how he was killed, but he was killed, right?
Well, they were filming a documentary about D-Ray, and it was called Walking Feet.
Okay.
It was about his dancing, and
That's right, Walking Feet.
he got shot and killed by somebody. I mean, I guess
I don't remember how. I don't remember what they said. It just kind of all ran together.
I just assumed it was out of jealousy.
I'm sure
of that tap dancing.
Well, who wouldn't want to tap that? Clog, Misty. It's not
Oh,
tap dancing,
sorry,
it's
clogging.
All right, so D-Ray and has Birdie Mae as his wife. He's survived by her, and they have a bunch of kids. Now, it turns out they have 13 kids, but only 6 of them were in this movie.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have at the top of the line is Jessco White. Now we have a local. You probably don't know this, or you may know it. We have a local radio program who got in touch with Jessco White like 15 years ago when they saw his documentary called Dancing Outlaw, because Jessco White also had a dancing documentary.
That is correct. He did have a dancing documentary.
Yeah, it's called The Dancing Outlaw.
And he got pretty famous as well.
He is incredibly famous in that part of the world. Incredibly famous. In fact, he talks about how difficult it is to be as famous as he is.
Right.
Like, people will go to his door and take the signs. Like, he'll
makes-
handwrite signs that say,
Keep out,
don't bother me, I'm not here.
Leave me
and
alone.
people will steal the signs because he's so famous. They
Right.
want, they want a piece of him.
Yeah. And
All right.
apparently, like, he's been mentioned in, like, country music songs
Yeah.
and is kind of like an icon in
Yeah,
some of that
this world,
musical genre. And I'm just like, oh, wow.
Jessco.
Jessco, I did not know it.
Did you think Jessco might have been a really handsome man if it not worked for his circumstances?
Can I tell you, they showed one picture of Jessco, and I was like, dude, you
Double
could
take.
have done something with yourself.
Yeah.
But Jessco is a man of many faces. Did you notice throughout the documentary, I would see him, okay, so
Full beard.
So in between these cuts of the documentary, they have this man dancing on a picnic table.
And he's being accompanied by Hank Williams the third.
Hank Williams the third.
Yeah.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that he's not related to the original Hank Williams.
You don't think? Okay.
I feel like he's probably not.
Okay.
But I think maybe his last name is Williams.
Okay.
And he went ahead and jumped on that train.
Okay.
So, but you see this? How about I didn't know that was Jessco till the very end?
Oh, really?
And I was like,
No, that's Jessco.
hey. But sometimes he has a full white beard.
Yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't have a beard. Sometimes he has long, luscious hair. Sometimes he has no hair.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He's a chameleon.
I guess that's part of being so famous. You got to keep
You've got to keep moving.
keep your look changing.
Yeah, you got to keep moving.
But the most interesting thing to me about Jessco was the fact that he had huffed so much gasoline in his lifetime
Yes.
that he had self-proclaimed brain damage.
Well, in all fairness, I would agree with Jessco. There
Yeah.
is definitely some
Yeah.
damage there.
To the point that he said he wasn't quite sure which part of the brain was dead. But the doctor said that the scans just looked like the gasoline had eaten it right up. So,
It's all white, all of it.
all of it, just like his last name.
It's just
And I just thought to myself, if you are a young man and you have struck fame in such a way that someone wants to make a documentary about you and your dancing,
Yeah.
surely you could get better than huffing gasoline out of the back of a car. But I guess you stick to your
you
roots.
can't. So this is what I'm noticing, and we're kind of jumping a little bit, but what I'm noticing about this whole family is we can sit here and we can make fun of them, and there's a lot to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of really dumb things these people do, but they are a real product of their environment. Nobody has ever gone in there and said and made an effort to maybe mentor them, and if they did, they were probably rejected. Like it's not part of their family culture and of their regular community culture.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? There's not.
It's like nobody's ever looked at them and said,
You have potential.
this isn't okay,
Yeah,
what y'all
exactly.
are doing.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't normal.
Yeah. Well, going to jail doesn't keep them from doing things. I keep dropping.
Well, that's kind of a given.
Going to jail doesn't keep them from doing things. Getting arrested,
Having your kids
getting
taken
fined,
away.
getting your kids taken away. There's nothing that keeps them from doing what they're doing.
It's just
they
a bump in the
they get
road.
shot at. People get angry at them and just steal things from them. They're constantly
Right.
I mean, just terrible things happen all the time, and nothing says, "Oh my gosh, maybe I need to change." Except for that one
guy.
who got out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he ended up kind of figuring that out.
Right.
But anyway, what I'm figuring out is, yeah, there's a lot to make fun of, but gosh, how else are they supposed to act?
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't know.
It's just how
They
it
don't know any
is.
different. Yes, that's how their life is.
Yeah.
And what do you do about that?
Well, and it's kind of, it's like a bad circle, you know. They're raised that way. That's what they're used to, and that's all they've ever been taught, and so that's what they do. And you grow up and you have babies and you file for your crazy check and you
Yeah.
get that money and you use it to buy pills and sell those pills and use those
At a
pills
profit.
and
Yep.
at a profit, and that's just how it is, and it's sad.
There's Jessco, and then there's Mamie White. She's the oldest daughter. Okay.
The biggest and the baddest.
Yes, she's the biggest and the baddest. She is.
Now, here's another thing is they have a crazy number of children, these people. And
They multiply.
yeah, now Bertie may have only had 13, but they said she raised 34 kids.
Yes. Now, they're not all family.
Not all family.
Yeah.
And then Mamie said she raised at least 10 to 20 kids when she was 14 years old. I'd be crazy too.
What is wrong with these people?
These are the people that say we can't afford birth control.
Nobody either, they just don't receive the teaching or they don't get taught about birth control.
Well,
They don't.
I think it becomes
Such a
this
different
whole,
world.
like, they're so focused on family.
Yeah.
Family. Well, let's just have more and more of us because then, we don't have to have anybody else because we have this huge family and
Yeah.
we can all keep perpetuating this cycle of craziness.
It is, man. It is ongoing. Okay, so there's Mamie. She's the biggest, meanest, and baddest of all the whites.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she says. Dorsey is a brother that killed himself on accident with a gun.
Said this is not loaded and shot himself in the head.
Shot himself.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is a brother. He got into a fight and he was shot and killed.
Okay.
Now Pony White, he's the one who left for Minnesota.
Right.
He's doing good.
Yeah.
He still talks like this, and I bet the people in Minnesota are
like, what in the
Can
world?"
you please just read this for me so that I can hear that accent? But he is, he left, and he lives in a normal house. He's working. His kids seem like they went to high school.
They seem like they're so happy to be
Yeah.
out. I mean, like, they were like,
And they recognize that it was them physically being in West Virginia, or not West Virginia, but in that place.
Boone County.
Yeah, that it would have held them back. And they
Well, even
just-
the one kid, I mean, he probably couldn't have been over 15 or 16 years old,
Yeah.
was like, if I had not left, I would be doing drugs or I'd probably be dead or
and
in
he
jail.
would.
Yeah.
He would absolutely be doing drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jessco, we talked about how he's the dancing outlaw. He became very famous.
Mm-hmm.
Bertie Mae White is the matriarch. She's approximately 700 years old, and she
Is
doesn't
known
do
as
anything. She
the
doesn't.
Miracle Woman. She's known as the Miracle Woman.
She's the miracle woman. Now, Bertie Mae is kind of funny because you can tell she loves her family, and she loves to have them over. And her family just comes over, and they'll do meth in her living room.
In an apartment clad with the most beautiful velvet Jesus paintings you've ever seen in your
And
life.
a lot of macrame.
A lot of macrame.
A lot of macrame.
Yeah. And she just kind of sits there while they snort lines off a paper plate.
Yeah.
At her birthday.
At her birthday party.
At her birthday party.
Yes, and like they'll walk in and they'll talk to each other and say, "Hey, you want to go to the bathroom and do some blow?"
Yeah.
Or they'll just, down whatever they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And she literally covers her eyes. Literally will sit on the sofa and cover her eyes because she doesn't want them to do it, but she is powerless
Right.
to stop them.
And they
Completely
think it's
powerless.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they think it's
And then they just go give her a hug and
hilarious.
say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama. It's fine. And she's just like, okay.
Yep. All right, so then Bertie Mae has a granddaughter, okay?
Oh, goodness.
Her name is Susan Ray White, but everybody calls her
Kirk.
Now, okay, I'm not sure whose daughter. I forgot whose daughter Kirk is.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell. I know it's not Mamie's daughter, but I think it's that other woman who's with her all the time. Maybe
Bo.
that's her mother. And
Bo.
yeah,
That's
Bo.
her name, Bo.
And but old Kirk, she's quite a
She's
character,
something
buddy.
else.
Now there is a scene where Kirk gives birth to a baby.
Did you
and
think that baby was so beautiful?
that baby was adorable.
Before you talk about that baby, let's talk about her older child,
Tyler,
Tyler. I don't know how old he is. He's got to be like 7, 8 years old.
cute as a button.
Yes, cute as a button. Loves to drop the F-bomb
Oh.
and loves to flip the bird.
Well, he hates Dennis.
And he hates Dennis.
Okay.
Dennis is, did she kill Dennis?
No,
She
only
tried to
She
kill him.
stabbed him.
Yes.
Dennis is the father of this new baby, but Dennis also went and impregnated Kirk's cousin, and so
That's
when
right.
when Kirk found this out, she got very upset with Dennis. An ongoing theme is we hate that MF for Dennis. Okay,
Yes.
and so she went and she said she wanted to kill him, but wasn't quite able to, so she just stabbed him in the side. And so apparently she didn't get in trouble for it.
No, she didn't get in trouble because her mama helped her throw away the knife. And so the police didn't have any way to connect her to the stabbing except for maybe her confession right then.
Right then.
Yeah.
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 But now, so Kirk is impregnated by Dennis. And so she goes to have this baby in the hospital room, and you see this beautiful baby, and they're all sitting there, and literally she gets up out of the bed, walks over to the side table. I mean, it can't be, hours after giving birth?
Well, she's been talking about how she wants different things for this child. She
Oh,
wants
yeah.
her to grow
This
up
is going to be the
clean.
next Miss America, she said.
Oh, yes. She has high hopes.
High
and
hopes
dreams.
for this baby.
Yeah.
2 seconds later, gets up, walks over to the side table, pulls out what I'm guessing is the Percocet they give you after you give birth, crushes that bad boy up, and her mother begin to snort lines.
It's her cousin.
Is it her cousin?
She and her cousin begin to snort lines.
Snort lines.
Yep.
And then, cut to, they are shocked that CPS has come in and taken the baby from the
Why
hospital.
would they do that, Misty?
What in the world?
How?
How
I'm
dare
just
they?
going to go kill myself.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go kill myself.
I don't understand why they take that. You just walked over and snorted lines in the hospital
10
room.
feet from the
Yeah.
baby.
And do you think, I mean, for sure that baby was born addicted to
How
something.
could it not have?
It had to have been.
It had to have been either born addicted or certainly tested positive for something.
Yeah. Or fetal alcohol, something.
Something.
Yeah.
Because Kirk is a real addict. She's not
yeah.
I'm using this for fun. She is a real because when she talks low and she talks like this.
Right. And you can tell the difference.
And she's struggling to get the words out.
Right.
And like here it is. This movie she was probably filmed 20 years ago, and I'm still just concerned about her. Just get the words out, Kirk. I don't.
Right.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah.
And she is. She admitted to murder or attempted murder.
Attempted murder. Yeah.
She talks about. She said she's the sexiest one
Oh no.
of all of them.
No, that's
Now,
not her. She's not the sexiest.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're so right. You're so right.
She's not the sexiest, but we
Okay.
are going to talk about the
she said
sexiest later.
she's been accused of accessory to murder, and she's been in jail so many times she doesn't know how many times she's been in jail. This is Kirk.
And her dad's in prison
Her
for double
dad's in
murder.
prison for double murder. And one of the reasons she went to jail last time was because she ain't no snitch.
No, she ain't no snitch.
She ain't no snitch.
No,
So,
But let me tell you, even having her baby taken away was not going to hold her down for long. Because, I mean, what else would you do if your baby was taken away from you the hospital, but get with your cousins and go hit the bar?
there's no better way to make you forget.
Right.
No better way than
And so, clad in those lime green sweatpants,
straight from the hospital.
I think the hospital bracelet was still on her wrist.
I agree. It totally was on her hand.
She and I believe it was Mamie
Yeah.
and the sexiest of them all, Sue Bob, who is a former stripper.
Sue Bob. She's the sexiest one in the family. She's got 2 adult kids, and her son is in jail.
Yeah, well, they took it on down to the bar.
Brandon. Yeah, they took it on down to the bar, and they danced. And the band that was playing knew exactly who they were.
Oh, yeah.
Introduced them. They got up there on the mic, started singing and dancing. I mean, I assume that Kirk was still in her maternity diaper
Sure.
up in the bar.
For sure.
Doing her thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She just went straight there. I mean, where else would you go?
I'm
Why
going
would
to
you
say the
go
white
home?
women are the creator of the messy bun.
They perfected it.
They perfected
the messy
it.
part, for
Yeah.
sure. Sue Bob White, sexiest one in the family, got 2 adult kids. Her son is in jail.
Yep.
She used to try coke here and there and a little crack, but her favorite is weed.
Loves it.
Yep.
She made a buku of money as a stripper
Buku is, yes.
and can flip on a trampoline like nobody's business.
Well, that is a treasured
That's a
skill.
skill.
Yeah, her son, who could name every narcotic known to man as his favorite.
I was sitting there listening, and I thought, surely this is going to end because I can't think of any more. And they
kept
just
going.
kept
It kept
going.
going.
I mean, from the lack of spelling that they have, they
Yes.
can pronounce drugs like nobody's business.
Oh, yes. You know what? It's just, you watch these people, and violence is also a way of life, not just drugs, but violence. It's like, I don't like what you did, and it really doesn't matter anything from you took my piece of candy to
Right.
you've slept with my man. It all has the same consequences. I'm going to go shoot you.
Right. Now, one of my favorite little anecdotes that I learned from this documentary was the Boone County mating call. Do you know what that is, Amarilys?
Missed it. I missed the baiting call.
That's when you shake a prescription pill bottle. And he said it was one of the brothers, and his name was Dirty.
Dirty.
which stands for Old Dirty White Boy. Mm-hmm. And he said, if you want to hear the Boone County mating call, this is what you do right here. He shook up a bottle of pills, and he said the ladies will come running.
That's terrible. That is terrible. We should not laugh at that. That is terrible.
Well,
that is terrible.
They said it, not me.
All right, so another thing to consider is that this family, they all got money.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they all have money, and don't nobody have a job.
Not a single one.
Nobody has a job. They all have money, and nobody works.
Guess how they have money?
Now, I will say this. They are entrepreneurs.
They're
They
crafty.
hustle and they bustle, and they make a profit on drugs.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They are hustlers. And they also defraud the federal government on the regular.
Yes. Now, D. Ray is the one who started this little scam.
Yeah.
And so, in West Virginia, everybody's a coal miner. Like, that's the big business.
Yep.
And so D. Ray was, of course, a coal miner. And back in those days, like today, I think coal miners make pretty good money.
Yeah, they do really well.
But back then, they basically got paid with certificates. And it was basically coal mining money that they could only spend at these coal mining stores owned by the coal mining
basically
company.
worthless.
So it was basically, they said, like slave wages, okay? Yeah. And so D. Ray looked at this and said, look, these people at the coal companies are making bukus of money off of us, and we're over here slaving and starving and getting next to nothing. If they can, do us that way, then I can do the government that way.
Yeah.
And so he learned very quickly how to scam the Social Security department.
Administration, yeah.
And so he basically got every child born to him a quote-unquote crazy check.
Yep.
So basically, he would say that they had mental illness, and they would get a check.
Yep.
So.
And the legacy goes on.
Oh, yeah. And they all know how to do it and do it well.
They're all on disability / anything. Like.
And let me tell you, this is one part of the documentary where I was just sick to my stomach, because as a person who has a child with a disability, a severe disability, I get no benefits government-wise, because my husband has a job and we make money and we take care of our family. Yeah. Now, if my husband was to quit his job and we were to want to live off the government, we could live off the government.
Well, it wouldn't even be living off the government in a situation like this. It would be what the system was created for, which was a bridge until you can get yourself on your feet.
Until you can do better.
Yeah.
But the reason it's so hard for people like us who we make too much money to receive any governmental benefits, but we don't make enough money to cover all the things that aren't covered by insurance that would be beneficial to our children.
Meanwhile,
is because of people who abuse the system like them. And that's what makes me angry.
Oh, sure.
And I was just like...
And they're so flippant about it.
Oh, yeah.
They're so flippant
Well,
about
it's like it's owed to them.
Oh, they're very entitled. That's what
very entitled.
What we see in this documentary is there's some lawyers and law enforcement people who know the whites very, very well. And one of them says, what the big thing about the whites is just they're entitled. They just feel entitled to anything.
To whatever they get,
they want.
however they want to act, whatever they want to do.
That's right. At Mama's birthday party, how did you like it when Les walked in completely naked?
Amarilys.
Do not let your kids watch this movie.
P.S. How about just nobody watch this movie? Because...
You know what? That's a good idea.
Because just let us tell you about it, because it is a feast for the eyes.
It is a feast for
Let
the
me
eyes.
tell you. Yeah, there's some nudity in there. There's some real strong language. A lot of drug use. I mean, it's a lot. So
it's a lot. There's a lot of. I didn't think about the actual drug use in there.
But yeah, for as much as they love Birdie Mae, they do not mind disrespecting her in whatever way they deem.
I guess they feel like it's disrespecting. I mean, I don't know.
They
how
think it's hilarious.
They think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
they do, and they feel so comfortable doing these things to her.
Yeah.
Then we also saw Kirk telling her son, that 8-year-old, whatever how old he is, I think 6 cans of soda is too much while he's bottoming up with the other can of Pepsi.
He is bouncing off the wall.
The kid cannot sit still. This is not an ADHD problem. This is a 6 cans of Pepsi
Screaming,
problem.
I hate Dennis with the double birds.
And flipping off birds, yes.
And flipping off birds. And I think he was jumping in a playpen at some point. I don't know
Probably.
what was back there.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
All right. So Kirk had her baby girl.
And
Let's
Kirk,
see.
now also, if that was her, did you say that was her cousin that was with her?
That was her cousin.
Now, her cousin felt so close to this new baby girl that she had another white do an amateur tattoo on her arm of the baby's name. And girl, if I sat there for 1 minute and heard them respell that name 150 times.
The girl's name was what was the middle name was Miranda Raven. But they spelled it Meranda.
Yeah.
You know how I know?
Because
she
they
spelled
spelled
it
it 100 times. And he said M-A.
And he
And he
did
did
it.
it. And he said, I'm so good at this, you won't even be able to tell that I messed that up. And boy, did it look shaky.
Miranda Raven.
Yeah.
It was just like he wrote it on her arm. It wasn't a
Like
design. He just wrote it.
He just wrote it. On. Have
Do you know what their writing skills are for somebody in the White family?
It's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. And I believe he tried it in cursive.
It's Yeah.
But she didn't seem worried at all.
Oh no.
I mean, just slap
got
it on
baby
there.
Miranda
I mean, it doesn't
Ravens.
even have to be her own child to put the name on there.
Yep. All right, let's talk about Mousy.
Oh, Mousy.
Mousy.
Mousy is my favorite. Can I just tell you?
Just because of her name.
Mousy's my favorite because Mousy knows what she wants, and that's Charles. And she's going to go after it, and she's going to get it.
My favorite about Charles is he knows how to wear a chambray shirt without an undershirt.
Charles knows how to rock denim on denim
Yeah, he does.
like you would not believe.
He also does not believe in undershirts.
No.
Does not care for those at all. So what's so funny about this is how flippantly and casually they talk about relationships. So Mousy has been in jail for 2 years. I don't even
Yeah.
know what she did.
I'm sure it's drug related.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went to get her out of federal prison. Okay. They went to get her out of federal prison.
Right.
And the first thing she says is, we got to go find Charles. Now, she's married to Charles. Okay. She took Charles from a girlfriend. Like she and Charles got together because he cheated on his girlfriend.
Right.
Right. And then they got married in a drugstore.
As one does.
Yeah. In a drugstore.
After she picked up her pills.
Correct. And at some point, she went to jail for 2 years. While she was in jail, Charles reconnected with his girlfriend, and he lives with his girlfriend.
And has impregnated her.
And has impregnated her. Yeah. This does not seem to deter Mousy.
Mousy said, what's mine is mine.
What's mine is mine. And so we go on a hunt.
That's exactly what she called it. She said, we are going on a hunt. And they said, what are we hunting for? And she said, Charles.
And they found him
They sure did.
on the side of the road with a full open chambray shirt.
And a full 18-pack of beer.
Charles did not want to go with Mousy.
Charles put up quite a struggle.
Mousy was, how should we say, she had womanly needs that could only be fulfilled by Charles at that moment.
Mousy was motivated.
She was motivated.
Okay.
And it was really weird. It was basically assault on Charles.
It really was.
Yeah.
I kind of felt, well, she even said, I've abducted Charles.
She did.
She said, I've taken him hostage.
Yeah. Also,
And
at the
you're
end,
not-
when they updated, they were like, they're still together.
They're still together.
Charles
She
left his
told him,
girlfriend.
she said, you're not going back home with her. You're
he
coming
did.
home with me tonight. And he did.
Yeah.
And apparently he stayed. But now in the notes they said, and Charles never went back to his girlfriend's house again, although they do sleep together from time to time.
Well, a man has limits. A man has limits.
She should have known.
Yeah. And she, I don't know these people, but she was just so flippant about it. She was like, no, he's coming home with me. He's not going back with her.
Yeah.
Just like it's normal for your spouse
Yeah.
to live with a girlfriend and have the choice.
And not upset that he's impregnated this woman.
Yeah.
Not upset that
It's just par for the course.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. It's just how it is.
That's just how they do things there.
Yeah. All right. So then there's Brandon Poe, who is Sue Bob's son. He's in jail. He had gotten into a fight with his uncle. They went through the whole thing of everything that happened. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
But he basically blew his face off.
Right.
He took a gun and he blew his face off.
Yeah.
And honestly, whoever his plastic surgeon was kind of a genius, because I couldn't see anything.
I couldn't
wrong
see a
with this
thing
man's
either.
face. Maybe his beard covered it up.
Maybe
I don't know,
so.
but he didn't have sometimes you hear when you see these people who've been shot in the face.
It looks kind of
they're
put back
paralyzed,
together.
or you can't hear. They have speaking or speech
Scarring.
impediments. They can't talk well or whatever. Anyway, so Brandon's in jail and he's awaiting sentencing. He's been convicted already, and he says, "I think I'm going to get out."
Well, and what it seems like is that within this family, they do all kinds of things and don't get very much time.
Or if they do, it's just normal. They're just like,
Then
we're
that's
just going to go.
just-
We'll be back.
Yeah, we're going to go away
No.
for 20 years. We'll be back later. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't serve that long, but like Mousy, 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years goes by.
That's fine.
Like that, and she'll just be. So Brandon is like, I shot him, but we all love each other.
And he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive, and I thought he was dead, but it turns out he's alive. And I
Yeah.
have a good relationship with the judge, and I really think that I'm.
I
gonna
loved
be
how
okay.
he talked about this judge like they were buddies.
Like they were friends.
He was like, he really likes me, and I feel
Yeah.
like we get along real well.
I think I'm going to be able to get out
Yeah.
here soon.
Uh-huh.
Like he thought that his attempted, he did it in a rage. He did it with intent. He went to this man's house.
Right.
It wasn't a situation where, he's
crime of
defending himself.
passion. Yeah.
He went to this man's house to kill him.
And thought he did.
Yeah. And so he was like, I think I'm going to get out. And then Sue Bob is just absolutely shocked. Is it Sue Bob that's the mom? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just shocked when he gets 50 years.
Yeah. And won't be
And
out.
he not only shot this man, but he then took his car and set it on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Arson as well.
Yeah. 50 years.
Yeah. So he gets 50 years, but will be available for probation in 25, I think. And I love what Sue Bob said. She was like, he'll be 40 something whenever.
47.
47 when he's available for parole. She said, I'll be long dead and gone by then.
Yeah, you will.
Now, Sue Bob did not look that old to me. She looked.
You can't tell how old these people are.
This is what. Now, listen. My daddy came from kind of a different background as well.
Yeah.
In some very impoverished parts of Alabama, and so some of this was a little familiar to me. But one of the terms that I would hear when we would go visit those areas growing up was, "That one looks like she's been rode hard and put up wet."
Okay, I hate that. I hate that saying.
And
It's
that's
so gross.
what people say about horses, okay?
Yeah.
So, but that's what she looked like.
Yeah.
So
But they all look
they
like
all
that.
look that way. And so, but I'm thinking if he's in his 20s, they all get pregnant around teenage years, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, and I'm thinking maybe she's 40-ish, okay,
Maybe. Yeah.
at the most.
I look at Kirk, who just had the baby.
Right.
And she's got that 8-year-old. So she has to be in
She's
her
got
30s.
If not 20s.
She looks.
She looks rough.
Yes, and you could kind of see her beauty in some of her much younger pictures that they showed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even after she got out of rehab and was cleaned up.
Yes, what a difference.
And that's when I realized that her speech
Yeah.
was not as bad as I thought it was. Like it was the drugs. Because, I mean, it was still very West Virginia,
Yeah.
but not
she
at
was
all.
very zoned out when she was on drugs.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they all look, it's hard to tell the age.
Yeah, Kirk has got to be in her. Gosh, I wish I knew how old they were. But what I thought was hilarious was at some point Kirk, they went to court to try to get the child back. That's where she walked in with her lime green.
Still in those green
Yeah,
sweatpants.
yeah.
Yes.
Which I thought was just, I saw her go up those stairs and I thought, now I have been to court for different reasons over the years.
Oh.
Well, no, it's not anything bad, but like, like a ticket or for somebody else.
Right.
And like somebody asked me to go, like they were going through a divorce and they asked me to go. And so, that you've got to dress up. This is
For court,
and
yeah.
it's not even a situation of they don't have the money to do it because it doesn't take money to put on something that you wouldn't normally wear to
Right.
work outside.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You could
Even the
just-
worst of criminals know to put a tie on.
Yeah. Well, even just a pair of nice blue jeans, for heaven's sake.
Something.
She's wearing her lime
Green
sweatpants.
Birthing sweatpants.
Yeah. And so to me, it's indicative of just this world that is
I don't
very
care.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a completely different worldview. But anyway, so they go to the court and they try to get the baby back, and they're like, "No, you can't have her back." And the only way to move forward is rehab.
Right.
And so she makes a decision to go to rehab.
Right.
And so she ties one on.
She said, and I quote, "I'm going to do every pill I can come across, and F you, Dennis."
Okay, so they do this. She has one last night of fun or weekend of fun.
Right.
And what's hilarious is all her cousins and sisters are down. They're like,
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah,
"Let's
you are.
go.
Whatever pill we come across, we're crushing it and snorting it.
Let's go.
Let's hit it."
And so then on that Monday or whatever day it was that they all decide that they're. Did you notice that they kept picking up people? So
Buddy.
What was happening? It started off with just her and her kid, and then it's like they pick up
look.
sister, and then they pick up mama, and then they pick.
Nobody has a job. So everybody's hanging out on the street.
I guess.
So they would just roll by and they were like, "Well, here's somebody who has loved Kirk for as long as she's
she's going to rehab.
she's going to
Get in the
rehab.
car."
Y'all get in." And he gets in. Well, then they see Taylor's daddy, which is her ex, and they say, "Well, you get on in too." And so he gets in.
Then they stop somewhere and go shooting.
They do. They go shoot for a little while.
Yes.
And then they said, "Taylor, how are you feeling about this?" And he was like, "Well, I'm real sad, but could we make a stop at the Dollar Tree for a little bit?" So Taylor
Will make me feel better.
So Taylor goes in and gets a full-on Halloween costume.
Yes.
And puts it on.
And that's what we see him the rest of the time.
And that's what we see him in the rest of the time, which, God love it. Like,
he's just being a kid.
he's just being a kid, and he's probably like, "I am so embarrassed right now. Can I please hide my identity?"
Okay, so she ends up, Kirk ends up after this trip of picking, it's almost like it could be like a John Hughes movie where,
Oh, yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm going to rehab.
Yeah, everybody jump in.
Yeah, hop in." So she ends up going to rehab. She didn't even know how long she was going for. She was like, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be 2 years.
Right.
It ended up being 3 months, and she comes out a new person.
Well, now, she didn't actually come out. If you noticed this part, which I was really impressed with this rehab center, I mean, and the way they do things. But at 3 months, she came out, and they let her go get Tyler, and they moved Tyler into the rehab center
I
with
didn't notice
her.
that.
Because if you see the outside of the building, it's a mother's rehab program.
Oh, I didn't
And that's why
notice.
they have the playground and all that kind of stuff. And so she goes to pick up Tyler, and she says, "Tyler, we're going to live at this place for 5 months. And I'm going to learn how to be a better mother."
Oh.
And that's when he says, "You don't ever play with me."
I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
Totally missed that part.
And she says, "I'm sorry." And he says,
Yeah.
"You don't ever listen to me."
Yeah, I remember that part of the conversation, but I totally missed that first part. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And so she moves Tyler into the rehab facility with her, which it doesn't matter what your mom does. And
Oh, it doesn't.
you can tell this, especially in children. Kids just want their mom.
Yeah.
They just want their mom. They don't care if they are slurring their speech. They don't care if they are wearing lime green sweatpants. They just want their mom.
Yep.
And it was so sad because you could tell this little boy is a really intelligent little boy. Like, and you know he's had to learn to be street smart,
Yes,
number one.
he is very self-sufficient.
Just to keep himself alive. I
Yeah.
mean, but he's also just very smart, and you can tell that he just wants to be with his mama.
Yeah.
And so he was excited to go to rehab.
Yeah.
And doesn't really understand what that means yet, but sadly, rehab was a healthier situation for him than just living at home.
Oh, gosh. I wonder, I wish, I tried to go back and do an update on how these people were doing now, and I couldn't find anything, because I would love to know how Kirk in particular is doing, because she tried so hard to kind of get herself together. Because she came out of that rehab, or when we saw her again.
It was like day and night.
Yes, it was. She talked like a normal person. She was clear-headed. She was hopeful and smiling.
She was
you know.
dressed well.
She
Her
wasn't
hair was
bitter.
pretty.
And it was just really amazing to see. And I would love it if she had remained clean, but I
hope so.
suspect that she probably didn't.
Can you imagine how hard that must be? I mean, every family function you go to, they're snorting lines.
Absolutely.
How do you stay clean?
She would have to get out of Boone County to be successful. Somewhere in here also, Bertie Mae has a stroke.
She gets sick.
She has a stroke, but she's like 84. She's 84.
Yeah.
And she's a hard 84. It really is stunning that she has grown to be that age, but she didn't do the drugs and all that stuff, at least from what we saw.
Well, and it seems, and you can tell throughout this whole situation, and this seems to be a thing, and I don't know, I don't think is West Virginia considered a southern state?
Yeah.
It is?
Appalachian state.
Okay, yeah, an Appalachian state. But throughout that culture, regardless of the drug use, regardless of the violence, regardless of whatever, they're taught the Bible. Okay.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to mention
there's
this. Yes.
always a huge religious component in these families.
Yeah.
And it's usually led by one woman.
Yeah.
And that was Bertie Mae. And so, you know,
It does get misapplied pretty regularly.
It gets very misapplied. But, you know, she wants to do what she thinks is right, you know. But there again, family is the most important thing, and you're not going to tell your family they can't be in your house, even if they're snorting crack. So what do you do? Yeah,
it's just how they live.
Right.
They don't know any different.
Yeah.
That Bertie Mae dies, you know, after I don't know how long her illness was, but she had a stroke and it was pretty severe, and she does pass away, and it was really sad to see. You don't want, you know, it doesn't matter what your station is in life, you don't want to lose your parent,
Right.
and especially they had already lost their dad, so now that, you know, even as adults, you think I'm going to be an orphan, and it's still pretty sad to think about.
Yeah.
So you hate to see anybody suffering, but she does go, and so now this entire family is left without that one compass.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder, did anybody step into those shoes? How are they doing? Did they just all say, forget it, we're just all going our own way?
Well, I mean, Mamie at the end of the thing said, well, we're all going to hell, so we're just going to have fun until we get there.
Until we get
there.
So
she even said, you know, she was real close to her mother, so she was real upset about her mom's passing. But she said that at her funeral service, that she wants everybody to blow pot in my face and snort pills off my head.
Well, that sounds like a party. That sounds like...
You know,
That sounds like something the police department ought to file away for when the next white funeral happens.
So I'm thinking after this documentary was filmed, they probably all went into hiding because they could all probably be charged with a lot of things after this.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going, when they took the baby away, I was like, you're being filmed by a crew. Do you not think somebody in that film crew was like, y'all, we have to report this?
She looked into the camera.
There's a baby. Like, we're going to be releasing this, and we can be held liable. Like, I'm sure somebody on that film crew went to the nurse and said, they're doing drugs in the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and even if they didn't, the child was probably had something
tested
in its
positive
system.
for something.
Yeah.
Well, and like you couldn't look at him and tell something's not right.
Something's not right. Yeah, the way she talked. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all of it.
Y'all.
I'm sorry I made you watch that.
It's okay.
I don't know what we'll do next. We need to do something happy.
If you want to watch something that will make you squirm and make you feel better about your own existence,
This is it.
Watch this film.
This is it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it does make you feel better. Not feel better, but it actually makes you feel a little bit like an elitist almost, because you're just like, I am not that.
Right.
I'm a lot of things. But
We
I'm
a lot
not
of
that.
stuff.
I don't like how it makes me feel.
No.
I don't like that. Because I know that, you know, I know this is super duper cliche, but for the grace of God, therefore, but the grace of God go I. And I just happened to be born into a family who really taught me that education was important and that I'm worthy of any kind of success or hard work or success that I get from hard work, and that I'm smart and that I can do things. And I was taught how to study scripture, and you know, I was just fortunate that I landed there. And these people were not as fortunate, and so I don't like how it makes me feel.
Well, it made me look at it, and quite honestly, both of my parents were born into not that to that
Right.
extreme, but impoverished.
Yeah.
Alcoholism, drugs were part of
Every
what
day.
they were raised around. And it made me very proud to see that they made the
out.
decision to get out of that, and they raised us
Yeah.
very
And
different.
it changed a generation.
It changed a generation, and they taught us to look at that and go, that's not what you want to be.
You look at Pony White, and he changed his branch of that generation.
Yeah. And even like my dad, like he wanted us to be raised around my grandmother, but my grandmother was also she was a lot like Birdie in the fact that she was going to take care of her people, and they were always
matter
welcome.
who,
It didn't
yeah.
matter what they were doing. And so we very seldom got to visit her, but he protected us from a lot of
Shielded
that,
you, yeah.
shielded us. And so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I have cousins who I see now have taken the same road and
Yeah.
pulled themselves out of that. And, you know, I have a cousin that's now a preacher, and I have cousins that are school teachers, and
Yeah.
I see that their parents or a parent or someone in their life said, you don't
Made a
have to be
change.
that.
Yeah.
And so it makes me very proud to see that our families are writing a different story for the generations that we're bringing up.
Yeah, that's really nice, really nice. I wish this family, and I'm sure they're not the only ones. You know, there's got to be. It's Appalachia, which is famously this
Right.
way. So
But you have to
you know,
leave.
they're just lost. It's a lost. You know, as Missy and I both go to a Southern Baptist church, and they're very much into missions and evangelizing the world, and we talk a lot about people groups and lost people groups, and this to me is almost a lost people group.
Right.
And I think it's even worse than that, because I think people think of them as a hopeless people group because there's not anything we can do to change their minds and to change how they think.
Right.
Versus going into, you know, a remote village in Africa where they have never heard the gospel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my heart is sad. Like, as much as it's funny to me, and it's like I can stare at them like they're crazy people, I can and think, how do you live this way? I'm also really sad because
Yeah.
they're not open to receiving correction. They're not open to receiving a different way
Right.
of living,
Yeah.
because this is just how it is.
And it honestly takes leaving that place
Oh, you cannot
to do
stay.
anything. You can't stay. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one of the reasons my parents came to Birmingham was
Yeah.
they could not stay in that same place because it's the same people and the same thing and the same every single day.
Yeah.
It just it never stops.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, listen, it's this. I don't know that I would be as brave as our parents were.
Yeah.
Because I have parents that left a different
Country.
country.
Yeah.
Looking for that. They couldn't stay where they were, or they would never have achieved any kind of success.
Right.
And same thing in your family, just a different kind of captivity.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know that I would be as brave as they were.
Right.
And so it kind of puts a different spin also when you think about the whites, because it takes courage. Not only takes ambition and a vision, but it takes courage, and that is just something these people are not taught.
Yeah.
It's just not taught. So it makes me really sad. So sorry to bring us down, but
That's okay.
I may start crying at it.
But yeah, don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Certainly don't watch it with your kids around.
Do not watch it with your kids. Yeah,
No.
it's a lot. I mean,
unless
if
you're trying to keep them off drugs and they're older.
yeah, now if you want to teach them a little life lesson, if you found some
Yeah.
weed in your kid's drawer, show them this
Show them this.
and be like,
This
"Hey,
is your
here's your
future."
future, dude."
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You do not
yeah.
want this. Okay. So now we've come to a time where we want to talk about our shout outs of the week.
Yay!
So I think we just have one, right?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Lee Banks.
Lee Banks.
Lee Banks is a longtime listener.
She was like
Just
the first one.
literally like the first
Yeah.
one. And Lee Banks is
She's put up with a lot of audio problems.
she really has.
She's put up with a lot of editing problems.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee, we love you.
We love you, Lee. And Lee listens when she runs, which I think is so cool because I run too, but I can only run with music.
Yeah.
And she can listen to us and run.
So maybe if we had if we started doing longer episodes, she could maybe even like do a marathon.
Some training.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
going to be our new thing.
All right. Well, shout out, Lee. We love you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
there you have it.
Well, till next time.
I don't know what we're going to do next time. Is it your turn, I guess, to pick something?
I guess it's my turn.
I don't
And
know.
actually, I watched a really cool documentary this morning. Actually, after I finished The Whites, because I finished it right.
You finished it this morning.
I'd watched.
Okay, listen. We were supposed to record this yesterday. Misty
I
says,
wa-
can we do this tomorrow? I'm sick.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing it's because she had not watched it.
No, I had watched half of it. And I was going to finish the other half yesterday morning. And then I woke up and I was sick. And I was like, I can't do it. But I finished the tail end of it this morning. And then afterwards, Amazon will give you, if you like this one, you'll like this one.
Right.
And there's this other one called Little White Lie. And I watched it this morning, and it's different. It's not like anything
I've
we've
seen
ever
this
done.
one.
Have you?
Is it the one about the daughter?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen
Did you
this
like
one.
it?
Yes, it was amazing.
It was really good.
Amazing.
And we still have to record some bonus episodes. We've got some of our listeners of the week, our shout outs have given us suggestions.
Yes.
And so we've not yet been able to record those, but we're working on recording those as bonus episodes.
Yeah.
So if you guys have suggestions, be sure to send them in. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment.
Yes, yes.
And we're just going to keep doing this through the summer.
I know. Even if nobody's listening to us,
Who cares?
which they are.
Hey, you know what I figured out is even if nobody listens to us, one day when we are dead and gone, our kids can listen to this and go, we had some really cool mothers.
Oh my gosh. Now that changes everything.
How
I've not thought
amazing
about
are
that.
they? Yeah,
Now we're just podcasting because we're good mothers.
pretty much. That's why I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
I post all these selfies for my kids. It's not for anybody else.
All right, everybody.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.